All right. So I'm back. Okay. So check this out, right? I'm watching the Candace Owens show right now, and I'm not done with it. But what I just heard made me have to say, you know what? You need to go live real quick. And I don't know. Now, I'll tell you this. As far as right now, I'm not going to apologize yet. But I don't know. Now, I think I'm willing to hear Candace Owens out without trying to be so critical. And there's a good reason why. Okay? There's a very good reason why. And I ain't too big to admit if I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, I'll apologize, Candace. All right? But now you got me one to, well, not even necessarily you got me one to listen. It was the response from Turning Point that got me wanting to listen. And yeah, so we're going to get into this. I want you guys to hear this. All right? Candace, don't flag me for using your content. That'd be really nice if you didn't. But if you do, I understand. I've been very critical. But don't. All right. Without further ado, first off, thank you guys for being here. You guys are showing up pretty quick. That's what's up. Appreciate it. Like the video for me if you can. God bless you guys. Share it out, all of that. Let's get into this.
Screen grab was real. Of course it was real. But I mean, I would have to be the dumbest person ever. First off, I'm not even inclined towards tech, but also would have to be an absolute idiot, a moron, to try to figure out how to manufacture text messages for the purpose of releasing them to then probably get sued by every person that was not in the chat. Like, I'm just like, hey, Josh Hammer received this message. That'd be so dumb. But like I said, these people were desperate for it not to be real because they've been lying so hard about everything. They've just been lying, and they have some egg on their face now. And reality hit them pretty quickly this morning.
And Josh Hammer, man, I've been following this dude's page now ever since she mentioned his name yesterday, and he ain't yet to say nothing. And then I find that strange because of what he was just talking about the other day. So I'm gonna leave that there.
When Andrew Colvett, Turning Point's spokesperson, confirmed that the messages were in fact real. He did this on the Charlie Kirk show. And actually, I don't think it's dramatic to state that this may be the first respectable measure taken by Turning Point USA executives since the passing of Charlie Kirk, like the first respectable response. And yeah, I thought that was, I will compliment that. Just the action of Andrew Colvett addressing it head on instantly was good. So let's hear Andrew Colvett in his own words.
Okay, so before he gets to going, right? I only seen a clip. She right now, what I just listened to was the full length, I guess. I only heard a little clip. And I'm like, oh man, okay, he ain't really said, you know, just listen, right?
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, you know, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into.
So right there, first thing, right? He said it is a screen grab of a text message that I shared. Okay? He shared this, and he's going to lead on and tell you that he shared it with the FBI because he was like, yo, maybe this is what got me. Because people are like, oh, the text doesn't prove nothing. Even myself, I'm like, oh, that text don't prove nothing. But then I thought about it. He's going to go on to say that he shared this text with the FBI. Why would you feel it necessary to share this text with the FBI? What would be the relevance of sharing that with the FBI? And it clicked in me because obviously he got that text. I guess they was talking to Charlie. This is according to Candace. People was talking to Charlie, and he was saying that he felt like they were going to kill him. I don't know who they are. I'm not making an assumption of who they are, right? But then this guy sends the text to the FBI. and to whoever else. So then how in the heck did Candace get this text? Right? Got me scratching my head like how did Candace end up with this text? You know? Let's keep listening.
To it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way.
And that's real. And I can respect that. That's real, right? You don't want to do that. That's a private mess between you and your boys. I get that, right? But listen to this.
But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So
y'all see what I'm saying here? You feel where I'm scratching my head. In that text chain, what was it in that text chain that made you say, oh, this needs to go to the FBI? He said, I want to leave no stone unturned. What stone are you thinking will get turned? And then it clicks that maybe it was some. I know I'm about to sound crazy, bro. All right, I'm about to sound like Candace right now, and I hate it, but it is what it is. But this is the thought. Could it be that there is something larger at play? Like, again, I don't think the dude that they got didn't do it. He did it, right? He did it. 100%. He did it. I'm sold on that. It's just I don't know. It's just a thing of, I'm going to let him keep going.
One of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone, and that somehow we're just like, sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, and
again, now this is clicking. He might not even be talking about some foreign entity, Israel or whatever. He could be talking about what if, somebody within that group text. And this is another thought that I had because she mentioned like Turning Point USA. I'm going back and replaying everything that I heard Candace Owens say so far, right? She talks about Turning Point USA and how somebody betrayed Charlie. So then I'm like, okay, what if it ain't got nothing to do with international? What if she's talking about, what if she knows something, right? Or got something that's alluding to or pointing in a direction of somebody was like, yo, Charlie's about to mess up our gravy train. We got to do something. But then that wouldn't make sense to me. And this is where I'm scratching my head, because if that's the case, then how was this kid planning a week in advance? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I hear all of this and I'm listening to this guy and then replaying everything that Candace say. And I'm sorry, Candace, I'm praying for you. I don't think Candace got it all the way together, but I'm willing to listen at this point because she got something apparently. And people within their little circle, Charlie's friend circle, is sending this stuff over to Candace Owens. Or if it's not somebody in Charlie's friend circle, then it's got to be somebody in government, which I can't imagine that being the case, but because she got the text. And then I'm like, is it this guy? Is it this guy that's sending this stuff over here to Candace? I don't know. But I know that it's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy. It is.
I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this.
Yeah.
And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because
Facts.
anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness. I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with
That part, that comment that you just said. And see, that's another reason why I can't get on the Candace train, is that right there. Because if this is the thing, right? You say, I would share everything. Candace does not have the spirit of God. I love her, but she started going off a year ago. And I feel you. And that's where I'm at. It's like, okay. But as I'm listening to this show, I ain't gonna lie, it's got me scratching my head. Like, do she really know something? Is there something that we not seeing here? You know, was people like, because here's the thing, right? When I think about the kid, they say he was planning this for a week. So obviously these text messages wouldn't have been a part of the dude's planning. But at the same time, Charlie was on stage, right? Charlie was on stage talking about how Israel's press was trying to, bash him, talking crazy about him because he wouldn't agree totally about October 7th. So then that leads me to think like, okay, could somebody, I think about like Jesus, right? Jesus had Judas. Is it possible that what she's talking about is that somebody within Charlie's circle, when Charlie started to speak up a little bit and change up just a little bit, they like, that's a little bit too much. He's gonna mess up our money and potentially, coordinate or something. I don't know. I'm just asking a question. I'm not making a claim. I'm just thinking. Let him keep going.
The family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware that in my role as spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, that things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in specifically on this issue of Israel, because I know there's a lot of fascination. And
this is the part. Listen to this. He said, I will weigh in on the part of Israel because there is a lot of fascination. Listen to what he say.
I want to say that, we have to let free speech be our North Star here. Okay. Charlie was adamantly free speech. And I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers. All right. And I will say that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times. And I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this.
I'm not aware of many times. I've seen 2 clips, but this is his friend saying that frustrations talking about Israel's donors or Israeli donors or Jewish donors or whatever. Frustrations many times. I heard it too. But he said not many times, right?
Stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and what he's going to get asked about Israel. What was he going to say? And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, like, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months. And it's probably somewhere between the Bibi letter.
Going on for months. Somewhere in between the Bibi letter and what?
And the text.
Going on for months between the Bibi letter and the text. And the text was when? 48 hours before he lost his life. Now, I'm not saying that what Candace Owens is saying is true. All I'm saying is now I'm not so quick to say that she ain't got nothing. And then my man's body language is what got me. When he's like trying to be truthful, you could tell he's being 100% truthful, but careful is what I felt. I could be wrong. It's just how my eyes seen it. I'm like, yo, he looked like he's. Let's see what else she say.
So what do we think? Okay, obviously, you can tell he's anxious. You can tell he's nervous speaking about this.
And look, I ain't even got this far. I stopped right after that and came live. I didn't even. She even said it. She's like a little. You know what I'm saying? So yo, that's crazy.
Sure, it was positively frantic at Turning Point USA yesterday. I am sure he had very little sleep, and like I say, never the fun thing to be the spokesperson and also to be involved in the story. I can tell you right off the bat, he is telling the truth. He was not the person who shared that message with me. He also should know that
Okay.
he was not the only person who sent that message and sent messages around. So there are a lot circulating, some videos that are circulating.
So then that goes back. So now it's multiple people that sent it, and it wasn't even him, the guy that was in the circle of the know of those text messages. So it was multiple people that sent this text message to her for what? That they didn't think something's going on here. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I got chills. Yo, I don't know. I'm gonna keep listening.
And yeah, he's being honest about that portion. I personally, as someone who knows Andrew Colby, I want to express how I feel. I hold it against him actually that he didn't share it with me. He knew I cried on the phone with Andrew. He knew how I was feeling, and then I went under a very, well, you could say a blitzkrieg, right? A heavy bombardment from people who he knows hated Charlie, who tried to stop Charlie, people who had no issues showing up to his memorial. I mean, really gross stuff, who were attacking me.
I don't know, y'all. I don't want to get dinged too much for sharing too much of her show. You think she gonna ding me? You think they gonna ding me if I share too much of her show? I want to keep going because now I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm into this right now. I am. Retention rating unlocked. You got it. I'm here. But man, I don't know. But then, I look into it like for the spiritual side of it, right? Being a believer, right? I'm over here thinking in my mind like, yo, it's possible. All of these things are possible. You know the world you live in. It's all possible. And Charlie was a believer who considered himself to be a Judeo-Christian, right? And if he was somehow changing his stance, I mean, and the people at his organization is like, yo, this is our money, bro. This is our livelihood. This is our paycheck. I don't care what's good. Some of them might not even care. Like, look, I don't care how you feel about Israel, bro. We got to get this bag. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we got to get this bag. So it's possible. I'm still not sold. I'm not sold on it, but I'm willing to listen. Because my man's, the way that he said what he said, it's been going on for months. And this is the guy sitting in Charlie Kirk's seat right now, y'all. He's sitting, I'm not gonna act like I'm oblivious to this. He's sitting in Charlie Kirk's seat. And Amy, Amy, I'm not saying Israel did it. That's not what I'm saying. And I don't think that's what Candace is saying. Now that I'm paying attention a little bit more, I don't think she's saying it was Israel. I think she's saying, now listen to me, somebody betrayed Charlie that was close to Charlie. Everybody's pointing the finger as to who it could be and where it could be. I don't know. I just know that they got that kid, and he for sure was on that roof, jumping down, took a shot, had a confession, texting to his boyfriend, all of that. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. And then you just think about somebody made a good point to me. They say, man, look how long it took for what happened to JFK to come out. Look how long it took for that. You might not know the truth about this for a couple decades. But with the age of information, technology, we get into it a lot quicker. I'll tell you that. Now, I ain't going to say that. We got a lot of people in our audience that is supportive of Candace Owens. We ain't going to say that everybody's a fool. And I'm not necessarily a Candace Owens supporter. I'm just, at this point, not a Candace Owens hater, right? That's all. I'm like, okay, I gotta listen a little bit more. I gotta listen a little bit more because, again, let's make this clear, y'all. Well, let me say this too. Still got my own little personal issues with the way that she's going about things. Number one. Number two, I dislike the whole, like she went everywhere with it, the Beehive cult and all this, all of this stuff, the whole Bridget stuff, all of that. So it's like, it's, you can't fault me, right? You can't fault me because it's been proven some of the stuff that she said is a lie. Flat out, point blank, proven. So you can't get mad at nobody for not wanting to believe Candace Owens on anything that she says. All right. I'm not going to sit up here and act like everything that she's saying right now, because right now, honestly, everything that she's saying right now is still up in the air to me. It's just because of the guy at Turning Point, I'm willing to listen a little bit more. Because this is my thing. Has she not shared that text, right? Had she not shared that text, my mans would have never said that on the stage. You know what I'm saying? But because she shared that text, now he's saying what he's saying. And now it added a little bit more credibility to what she's saying in my eyes, because I'm over here, I've been arguing with her. You've seen me. I've been the man to show. I've been the number one, like, yo, she's crazy, right? And I'm not going to call her crazy right now, but, I'm trying to be better than that. All I'm saying is I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to listen. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Amy, his letter to BB says it all. I do think it could become someone around him since I stayed. That's my thing. Like, that was real. And he never, and this is what I'll stand on. I'll stand on this. He spoke highly of Bibi Netanyahu, right? So that's why I ate her up about the whole Bibi Netanyahu thing. And obviously, Bibi got more going on than to worry about Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. So discount Bibi. Even discount Israel, like the whole Mossad thing and all of that. Take all that out of the equation. These people that was surrounding Charlie thought it was a stone unturned, in the sense that we need to send this text chain. Now, at first you would think, well, they're talking about Israel in there, so maybe it's got something to do with Israel. No, bro, think deeper. She said that there's, 8 people in that text? What if it's one of those people that she's thinking about? You know what I'm saying? And then if it goes back months, that Charlie been feeling some type of way and thinking about maybe taking or leaving the pro-Israel stance, and the people around him know, like, bro, if you do that, that's our money. We already done we losing Jewish donors right now, is what the text say. $2 million, right? And people hear that and automatically say, look, it's the Jews. No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I'm thinking more along the lines of a Judas. If it's something, if anything, right? If anything at all. But the plot is thickening. The plot is thickening. It shocked me. That man just got up there in Charlie Kirk's seat and said that, yeah, he's been feeling some type of way for a minute now. And I turned over the stuff to the government. I turned over these texts to the government or to the FBI, because we didn't want to leave no stone unturned. What's the stone? What's the stone?
And he could have at least provided some cover. Now, I'm not saying that I need help, but sometimes it's nice to offer.
I can't get with that, D. I can't get with that. It's the government. It's still, that part right there doesn't make sense to me. That part does not make a shred of sense to me. I don't know if you mean the Israeli government or our own government or anything like that. It doesn't make sense to me that the government would be involved and doing something to Charlie Kirk, and then by way of doing it, use some kid that leaves a screwdriver on top of a roof, walks in front of every camera with you know what I'm saying? That part don't make no sense to me. That part, it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And moderators, yeah, no putting nobody in timeout, please. No putting nobody in timeout.
For somebody a lifeboat when they're being attacked for telling the truth, right? So I do want to say that. Also, I'm glad that Andrew responded correctly, because I was going to say this when Blake's like, well, the investigation's ongoing. That text message has nothing to do with an investigation whatsoever. It has to do with the broader question of people feeling that Charlie's legacy is intentionally being hijacked by Israel. I never stated that Israel killed Charlie. Anybody that's been watching this investigative series, we've come up, there hasn't even been an Israeli name that's popped up in this investigation. There's only been one Jewish person, I think, that's popped up thus far in this investigation, which is George Zinn, decoy boy. So they're just saying that. I just wanted to say that he was under a tremendous amount of pressure. Now, regarding the other things that are circulating that have not been publicized yet, and people should know that there is an underground movement of truth tellers in this moment. Okay, there's
a whole underground of truth tellers. Well, let me hear what else you got to say.
Underground movement of knights all around the world, from mom sleuths to government employees, like he said, to personal assistants, to Turning Point USA.
Pause real quick. Sorry. You guys, moderators, I love y'all. But yeah, Supernova is an OG as well. No blocking Supernova. Everybody's opinion is welcome here. Whether we agree or disagree, we all squad over here. All right. So please, mods, please, no banning nobody or putting them in timeout for their comments. If they're not attacking nobody and just asking questions, that's totally fine. All right.
Donors who are working together to bring justice to Charlie, because we don't like the way this feels. We just don't like the way it feels. The vibes are off. I will respect, even though obviously that statement was prepared, I will respect the fact that Andrew says what Charlie would have said. And for the first time, I feel that's been expressed, that we have to let free speech be our North Star. And I'm not so sure that some of the people that are donating to Turning Point USA believe that. In fact,
Now, this is where it's like, come on, because now you're pushing the whole Jewish donor thing, and that part, I can't get with that. Why not just stop donating? You know what I'm saying? Why? That wouldn't make sense, right? That wouldn't make sense to say, okay, I don't like what Charlie Kirk is saying, so instead of just stopping donating, I'm going to take his life. That don't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. That's just me, though.
Certain some of them don't believe that. Obviously, we wouldn't have that text message if they all believed that. And that is what I think has been so frustrating, is that it seems as though the executives would rather, and I'm now referring to Tyler Boyer, impugn the character of the people who are doing exactly what Charlie Kirk would have done. So please, Andrew, make sure that Tyler Boyer and Alex Clark get the internal memo about free speech.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Free speech. Cool. Comments say Candace is putting her from X. Candace is putting her neck on the line for us and Charlie. Big hugs for Candace. I'll pray for her safety all day long. Exactly, Cash. Take him out instead of trying to keep fighting it out. Makes zero sense. And the worst Patsy ever. That's my thing. Like that's exactly it. So let's see.
I want to say one more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed.
That part. And thank you, Lori. Thank you so much for the super sticker. So dude's saying that Charlie was saying that he's saying that he's going to be killed. If that's true, like, and now I'm over, this is all I'm saying, y'all, is now I'm willing to listen. I want to know, who is this person that's saying that Charlie said he felt like he was going to be killed? And who was the person that was trying to kill him? Who was he talking about when he was saying, they gonna kill me? Who's they? Who was they? Straight up. I appreciate you, Mac. Appreciate you, bro.
He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, you know, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Who was the they? But here's my thing. I wasn't questioning what happened to Charlie Kirk when it happened. I just took it at face value, like another deranged, radical leftist did something ungodly. That's the way that I saw it. And that's still the way that I see it, right? It wasn't until influencers came out and started saying there's more to the story. But I didn't give that no credit. You seen me. I ain't get that no credit. I'm like, nah, bro. This looks like a regular thing that the radical leftists do. So cut dry, But now you over here saying that you got messages and that you got this person who's about to say something that Charlie said that he felt like he was going to die or that they was going to kill him. I want to know who they are.
That he thought were going to kill him. Now, to give the obvious answer to federal informant Nick Fuentes' question, the reason that I waited to reveal the text messages is because I'm not a child.
Shots fired, though. Shots fired. She fired at Nick pretty hard. Yo, that was a shot.
Okay. Like I said, I have a lot more. I'm not an idiot, and I have self-control, and I understand that time is always going to be on the side of truth. Time is on the side of truth. Liars know that that's the reality. Liars know that they have to speak quickly, that they have to speak repeatedly. And I wanted
I disagree. Liars don't speak repeatedly for the simple fact that if they try to speak repeatedly, they'll end up saying the truth on accident or messing up the lie that they told. So they try to do a one and done. You know what I'm saying?
the world to truly understand just exactly what it is that we are up against. Okay. People that I deem to be mentally and spiritually evil. Okay. Evil in the true essence of the word evil. People who knowingly lied, instantly.
See, now there I got a problem. Candace. Because, and y'all gonna get mad at me. I know the Candace fans are gonna get mad at me for this, but I gotta call it out. You knowingly lied. You knowingly lied to your audience, which is the reason why I'm scratching my head on why I'm even considering anything, right? It's because you knowingly lied. So the same logic that you're using to judge these other people, you ain't using for yourself. You knowingly lied. You shared a video clip of Tyler Robinson saying car, when right after that he said vehicle, and you showed that clip just to show that he didn't use the word vehicle when he did right after the clip that you showed to push your narrative. And this is the problem that I have of why it's so hard for me to listen. You know what I'm saying? It's rough. I'm trying right now because you have me now. Like I say, I haven't watched this whole show. I didn't know I was about to say this. But man, come on. And then you calling people evil that you say that you believe are evil because they lied. So what is somebody like myself supposed to make of you when you knowingly lied to your audience to push your narrative? Nothing wrong with asking questions, right? I'm all for it. Right now, I ain't gonna lie. You got me scratching my head. I'm asking I'm not even asking questions. I'm just here for it, right? I'm just here for it. I'm just here to listen. But come on. No, she got that full clip. It wasn't that little clip wasn't the only it was the full clip. That was the one that was out.
Lied, repeatedly lied, and continued to do so without a trace of shame. Okay? Without a trace of shame. I mean that, right? I really do mean it when I say that you have to be someone that is, or maybe rather someone that is possessed by something that is less than human, subhuman, to do that. There's no human.
So that's what I'm saying. So right there, that same argument, this is what gets me. Now, again, I'm not a Candace fan. I'm just not a Candace hater at this point, right? But the same logic that you're applying to these people that you're talking about, Candace, you have got to apply that to yourself, because you literally 100% boldface lied repeatedly. There's no disputing that. And I know some of the fans of Candace in my audience right now are going to get upset at me saying that, but that's true. You repeatedly lied. Repeatedly. It's proven that you lied. The Bibi Netanyahu letter, you lied. He didn't say car, or he didn't say vehicle. You lied. It specifically, intentionally lied. So you have to use that same logic on yourself. You're being too critical right now. And this is where I say it gets more into theatrics, which also makes it so much less credible, what you say. And I'm trying to make it through this show, but it makes it so much less credible because now you're doing these little theatrics, and it's somebody who's not a fan, right? I'm not a fan of yours. I'm not a hater of yours. Not a fan, not a hater. I'm just critical because this is an interesting topic, and I'm trying to get, the real. I'm trying to pull people out of this little hate bubble that they all fall into now, of pointing, oh, the Jews did this, and oh no, Candace is great. Look, I'm trying to pull people back to reality and saying, okay, well, look, we can ask some questions. We ain't got to be inhumane to each other, right? But what you're doing right now is adding fuel to the fire. You're saying people that you believe, and I'm pretty sure, I have not watched this, but I'm pretty sure you're probably going to drop a name of somebody that you believe to be this evil being that you're talking about, that is possessed by something because whatever. So let's find out.
Humanity in you. That is why I named Josh Hammer.
There it
I believe
is.
he is a deeply...
God could strike me if I'm lying to you right now, y'all. I have not watched this, but I've been watching Candace Owens' show, and I know her little formula that she does. She gave a monologue, and then she's going to drop a name, and she's only going to claim about what she believes, never outright saying, and that's what it is. That's what she just did. And she got this dude up here, Josh Hammer. Josh Hammer. Don't know him. I've been following the page now since she mentioned his name to see if he say anything, but he ain't said nothing yet. So again, I've been watching this show now so much that I know the formula. And here you go. You just said this dude's name and you believe him to be possessed, evil, demon, whatever. Come on.
Disturbed
This is where you
man.
lose credibility with me.
Think about that. Now that you have those messages, okay, let's put this in the context. Just a few hours before I dropped that text chain, Josh Hammer was concerning himself with what he's been doing since Charlie caught the bullet in his neck. He has been spreading lies, saying that Charlie never flinched on Israel, right? Charlie never flinched. Oh my God, these people like Candace, they're lying.
That text, see, and this is just me. This is what I'm saying. Like it's you got one part that possibly points to the truth of what you're saying, but this doesn't prove that he was flinching on Israel. Is my whole thing. He said, I might have to back away from a pro-Israel response, which I want to see the full context of the conversation, simply because if that is the case, right, with what he was saying, then it wasn't because that they were trying to kill him. It wasn't because of anything other than they was pulling away funding. Which, if that's the case, that's kind of messed up. It's basically saying like, yo, I'm only going to support y'all if you pay me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's what it is implied there, because again, I don't know the full context of the text, so I'm not going to make no claims. But from what you're doing, yeah, I can't get with that, Candace. This is the part where I can't get with it. Amy, thank you for the super chat first off. And you say, why couldn't it be demonic part of the Democratic Party that had every reason to want him gone? A good point. Why couldn't it be? That's my whole thing. At this point, it could be anybody, because everything is so ambiguous, but trying to steer you into a line of thinking, right? With claims. When you make these little claims, like Candace is making, it steers you. She's leading you to believe a narrative. Never saying what the actual narrative is. It's just leading you to that way. And that's another issue that I have, because it's so ambiguous. What even the target is that she's on right now? Is it Turning Point USA? Is it Israel? Is it Jewish donors? Is it the Beehive? I don't know. All I know is that watching my man's up on Charlie's seat say what he said now makes me think, okay, maybe I should listen a little bit more to what she's talking about to see what she got to say, because something ain't adding up to me, right? Something ain't adding up to me, but I'm not going to make a claim. I'm not going to say this is leading me to believe that it was. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I'm scratching my head because, look, somebody in Charlie's circle sending out these text messages to the FBI, but then the FBI, or whoever, now somebody within the camp giving it to Candace Owens, and Candace Owens has now got it up on her show and now trying to use it as proof that Charlie was backing away from it. And it's just nothing's adding up. But it does make me scratch my head. That's it. That's it.
48 hours before Josh Hammer was on that text thread. And that did not stop him from keeping up the propagandist effort when he went on a show yesterday before I dropped the messages and said this.
Charlie was a close friend of mine, as you know. We actually spoke literally the night before his tragic and untimely death. I was on a small Zoom call with him and a couple others. We were literally talking through this topic. I was giving Charlie advice for how to message on this issue on his forthcoming campus tour. He kind of jokingly mentioned to me, he was like, Josh, I'm going to mention your book, Israel and Civilization, and it's so good. And that was literally our last conversation. It's just so tragic. This letter that he wrote to the prime minister, Chris, I read back in June or July or so. And there were so many people in the aftermath of his horrific assassination, Candace Owens, folks like that, who were saying that, Charlie was turning on Israel. He was ready to sell them out and renounce his life's work of sincere and genuine friendship with the Jewish people and the Jewish state. But this letter that he wrote to Bibi Netanyahu, Chris, literally begins. The first sentence of the letter is, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's a close paraphrase. As a Christian, one of my greatest joys in life is making friendships with the Jewish people and defending the state of Israel. That's literally the opening sentence of this letter.
Okay. Now, that's disingenuous for sure. If he was in that text chain 48 hours before, Charlie lost his life, I'll give you that. But no, that is messed up, because the dude that's on Charlie Kirk's show that's sitting in his seat saying, no, he really was feeling some type of way for months. So I can understand why you feel some type of way towards him. Okay, I could get that.
Filth. Okay? Absolute filth. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. Whatever that is that lives in him does not live in me. There was no truth in him. Obviously, there was no truth in Josh Hammer. He could have said, well, Charlie was going through 48 hours earlier. Yeah, he refused to do that. And in fact, I'm quite alarmed with what I know, that there are 3 people who said that Charlie communicated 24 hours before he died that he thought they were going to kill him. Now I find it rather alarming that Josh Hammer is similarly saying, the night before. So you spoke to him the night before. Did he communicate that to you, Josh Hammer? Did he?
But this is my thing. I don't understand what that has to do with anything. I don't understand, because, again, this is where I say, like, leading to a narrative, letting people sit like how I'm sitting and thinking, what's the purpose? Connecting dots, right? So that leads to what? Israel? You're pointing the finger again towards Israel? Like Israel had something to do with this? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to say that Josh Hammer is one of the ones that has something to do with it because he's being so disingenuous when he's on the stage? What are you trying to say? And why not just say it? It's my thing. Just say it. Say what you say. Say what you mean. Not this ambiguous stuff and asking him questions he ain't gonna respond to. That's my thing.
I'm interested. I know we won't get answers from you, but let me promise you that if I get a text message to the effect that you were somehow involved in him feeling anxiety the day before, if you did something that gave him anxiety in that way, I will release it instantly. There will be no place.
See, that's my problem. That's my problem. You see, it's the same exact game plan that I just said. I will release it if I find out that you did. I will release it. If I find out, I will. I will release it. Why not release it? You just said that this man is a demon. You felt like that he's possessed. You feel like he's one of the most vile, most evil. Why not just release it then and let the people see, look, what I'm saying is true. Why do you got to make people wait? This is what for me, for Cash. I'm not talking, this doesn't got to be for you, but for me, this like shatters credibility. And look, you had me interested for a minute. Now I'm just getting frustrated again. Candace?
You can hide. Anyways, I want you guys to know that I was feeling so inspired by Josh Hammer's utter lack of human decency that I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So that if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me,
Okay. That's interesting. So now there's a little bit of, yeah, she's good. I was just about to say there's a little bit of paranoia. She's going deeper into paranoia. Yeah, I don't know. Does she got something to be paranoid about? I don't know.
bankrupt me and my family that are threatening us to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real. Okay. I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair. Why do you always have to make this threat to bankrupt people? And I want you to know that those people, if anything happens to me, they have my explicit permission to release it all, detonate it all, expose all of these people.
So she got a kill switch. That's what she's saying. Look, I got a kill switch. Something happens to me, put it all out. But then again, this is my problem. Like, Candace, why not just show it all? If you got it, why not just show it all? Just show it. And I'm not saying you don't, right? I'm not saying Candace Owens you don't got anything, you're lying. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying, why don't you just show it and end all of this? Like, I don't know.
Politics and in the movement who behave like this behind the scenes. It's necessary. And I highly recommend every single person that is out there that has a platform and is going through things and is scared, do the same. Send everything around to about 8 people that you trust. And I mean, I've ranged it. I sent it to journalists, text messages and screenshots to people ranging from Max Blumenthal to Andrew Tate. They won't know where it's coming from. It will be everywhere. I want to remind you guys in the wake of all of this that it is so important to keep trusting our guts. We have been proven right so many times.
No, don't trust your gut. Sometimes your gut is wrong. Okay? Don't trust your, whatever even that means. You know what I'm saying? Don't trust your gut, because your gut, you might have some biases and some paranoia that'll make you, you think you having a gut feeling when really you just have paranoia or gas or something. Like, no, man, you go off of facts. Go off of facts, bro. And if you keep on peddling to people you're going off your gut, that's what you want me to believe, is that everything that you're saying is just a gut feeling, so I need to trust it. No. Man, I hate that I'm watching all of this right now.
In the recent past, right? Whether we're speaking about COVID, people that had to actually take a stance before people were then suddenly government, admits, yeah, we were lying. We were lying about this. We were lying
Jesus.
about that. We feel it all right now. The feds are lying. That is beyond obvious, which is why I was very happy to hear former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill explain this plainly when he went on Piers Morgan's show the other day. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I mean, it was off right from the beginning for me. Do we not guard rooftops anymore? There's been assassination attempts all over the world. Right. Why aren't we looking?
You don't guard rooftops at a college campus because you don't expect something like that to pop off at a college campus. That's the easy one. I got that. That's it. That's the easy one.
Rooftops. And then when I was sent the video with this at the same message where they said Charlie Kirk was just shot. When I watched that horrific video, he was obviously dead before he hit the ground. But the questions immediately started to come to me. That was not an entry wound that we saw. We saw an exit wound. So where'd that bullet come from? You don't bleed like, and I've shot guys closer than the camera.
And that's here we go again. You can't say, and listen, you still waiting for a report to come out. You gotta wait for the report to come out. Y'all, everybody's speculating on an entry and exit wound. At this point, it's pure speculation because there is not a full report out. Wait for the full report. That's all I'm saying. Just wait for the full report.
Was and an entry wound doesn't look like that. An exit wound does. Why did his shirt move the way it did? When I've shot people, their shirts didn't move like that. And then the initial reaction was, well, he was obviously wearing body armor and it was deflection. One, no, he wasn't wearing body armor, and two, it doesn't deflect like that off of body armor. Why was his shirt moving from right to left? Why were people being interviewed saying, yeah, they came from my?
Can I give an opinion here? Maybe I don't know because the report ain't out, right? But maybe, like my man Matt said, Matt Kester. If you guys ain't following him, you should. He's been doing some real good, investigative things regarding, impact, bullet impact, and all types of stuff, right? And 30-06s. So if the bullet, did enter in like right here by the clavicle, right? Hit the spine. Because you've seen Charlie, rest in peace to the brother, but not trying to reenact nothing. But his body jerked like this. The shirt went back. Maybe that was the bullet actually hitting the spine. And then what you saw in the neck, maybe it wasn't an exit wound, but from a fragment that came out. Because the bullet hit the spine and boom, jerked back. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. Everything is speculation. Everything is speculation. Everybody doo-dooing hard on Kash Patel. Ridiculous, because the dude's been forthcoming about everything so far. You know what I'm saying? And for all the people in the comments say, yo, how do you trust the FBI? It's not that I trust the FBI. Kash Patel, he's done a great job through the years. And now he's FBI director. I mess with Kash Patel. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Dan Bongino. Wasn't always a huge fan, but got some credibility. So it's not that I trust the FBI. It's just the two guys that are in there. I think that they doing a pretty good job so far, and they haven't given me a reason to think that they aren't. So that's where I'm at with it.
Left to right, from his right to left, immediately shut down. And then did they tear the crime scene down immediately? Just right off the bat, from seeing it, knowing he was dead, saying a lot of this is bad. Not even getting into the soliloquy of text messages that 22-year-olds don't send their trans lover. So
you can't say that, bro. You're not a part of the furry kingdom. I think that's what it's called. I'm not trying to make fun. That just sounded funny, right? I'm not trying to poke fun, right? But you can't say that, brother. And this is what I'm saying. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. You don't know how 22-year-old people that are in that kind of relationship talk to each other. I think that them talking to each other, period, is weird. So I can't begin to try to understand the way that they would talk to each other, because you know why you can't understand it, bro? Because you're not them. You're not in that stuff. You're not into that. You don't know. They might run around the house talking to each other like that. My love, my furry bunny, whatever. I don't know. Stuff that they might say. I don't know. But you ain't a part of that. So you wouldn't know how they talk. But you can't discount it and say that it's not real because it's weird to you. That's not even fair. Just saying.
Immediately, it's just the official story sounds like it needs to be investigated. But now, the whole crime scene's gone. They paved over it. Nothing to see here.
You just have to laugh. The soliloquy of the text messages that 22-year-olds do not send their lovers.
And Candace, this is where I can't hear you on this. Because you told me that nobody used the word vehicle. But you yourself use vehicle a lot. You said that there's no way that kids just don't talk. The 22-year-olds don't say vehicle. And in the video clip that you showed, you stopped it before he said vehicle because he said car first. So you can't be considered an authority on this. Is that fair? People in the chat, Candace Owens fans, all my Candace Owens fans that are in the chat, is that fair? I can't listen to what Candace Owens says about how somebody talks when she deliberately tried to fool me and everybody that was watching her into believing that nobody, first off, talks with using the word vehicle, and second off, playing a clip to support that narrative while cutting it because the clip was full. Cut the clip right where he does say vehicle and then not address it to your audience. Is that fair? I'm asking y'all, is that fair? She never addressed her audience and said, hey guys, I'm sorry. On the clip, I only got the snippet. I didn't get the part of the clip where he actually does use the word vehicle. Maybe people do talk like that, and it's obvious that he does talk like that because he did use that word. Is that fair? Or are we all just going to ignore that because we just love Candace? We can't call it out? Come on. Come on, guys. It's got to go both ways. Got to give and take here. Got to be fair.
Yes, that's kind of.
I'm doing y'all the solid of actually listening to Candace, right? Anthony says, if that's the case, it's not fair, but it doesn't discount other things. True enough, it doesn't discount other things, but all I'm saying is now, as somebody who's like, okay, I'm not a Candace fan, and I started listening to Candace for my viewers because they were saying, Cash, you need to listen into Candace, right? And I listened to her, and now she's telling me, making fun of how the way people talk and the soliloquy and all of these things, when you already done lied to me about how people talk intentionally. It wasn't on accident. It was intentional. You cut the clip to support your narrative. So it's fair that now, okay, when I can't listen to Candace Owens' advice on or truth on anything moving forward about how the way people talk and what word verbiage that they would use because she intentionally tried to lie. That's fair. Agreed? Okay. I agree wholeheartedly.
And the main point, guys, we have been working off a lot of tips and so much more is going to be exposed. And we're going to get into that more tomorrow. I do want to give you a quick update on Lance Twiggs. And like I said, we know that the feds are lying to us. The question is, why are the feds lying to us? The answer is always the same. The feds only lie to cover their.
The feds only lie. Here we go. She about to make another statement.
Their own tracks. They are protecting themselves and their bosses. Who are their bosses?
See, here she goes. Now she's talking about the feds lying, but you ain't gave me nothing to say that the feds are lying. You're making a claim without giving me anything to say that the feds is lying. That's my, come on.
Bosses. Who is they? Anyways, take a little bit of a break here because I want to read some sponsors first and foremost.
No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
Tips related to what happened. But I want to tell you that I actually believe that this was a military hit. That involved foreign actors and also literal actors. I believe that that day ran something akin to JFK's assassination. I believe that there were therefore multiple decoys on the ground. I do not believe, just so I'm clear here, that the person who was walking up the stairs killed Charlie. In fact, my suspicion is that that photo was not even shot on the same day.
Candace, I've been watching your show. How would the photo not have been shot on the same day when you tried to tell me that that kid ain't never even stepped foot on the campus before, that he went to a totally different school? How would that photo have been shot? And this is how much I've been listening, okay? This is how much I've been listening to Candace Owens, y'all. I could go back in my brain right now and tell you, Candace Owens said that he ain't never been to that campus before, allegedly, from what she heard, what she was told. How could you now believe that that photo isn't even taken on the same day then? What changed? Did you find out he'd been at the campus before and not tell us? Because Now it's just getting, and now it's military. Now you believe that it's military. I'm assuming you're gonna say Mossad. This is what I'm saying, y'all. This is where it gets hard for me. This is why I ain't gonna apologize to Candace Owens. I'm willing to listen a little bit. Listen with the intent of thinking that you're not all the way out there, right? But this is what I mean, Candace. Like, come on, man.
I do not believe that the person who ran across Losey rooftop killed Charlie. I think it was another decoy. I do not believe that shot came from a Losey center at all. And we all know that decoy George Zinn didn't kill Charlie. And I received an interesting tip about him as well, that he's much more connected than what meets the surface. He potentially has connections to the federal department, familial connections to the federal department, and we are prodding that. It's getting interesting. Anyway, that would suggest that there are thus a total of 4 decoys, like George Zinn, staircase guy, maroon shirt guy, and Losey center guy, none of which I believe actually pulled the trigger. Call it a hunch.
You see? This is the issue. This is them words. She's making claims of what she believes and doesn't believe. Call it a hunch. Call it a feel. Call it a vibe. But don't call it fact. Don't call it a fact. This is my problem, y'all. And I know my Candace Owens fans, I love you guys, but this is my problem. And I think it's because I'm not a fan that I'm able to see it, right? Because when you're a fan, you're heavily vested. Like how people get when somebody says something about me in the chat. They're like, "Nah, you don't know Cash," and they get to going. And I understand. I get it. But because I'm not a fan, I'm able to sit back and listen and be like, okay, there it is. You just said all this stuff on a hunch. That's where you're getting it from. A hunch. You don't know if Tyler really didn't do it. You believe it. You don't know why you believe it, other than it's a hunch. You know that there was patsies out in the crowd that day and actors in the crowd that day. You ain't got no proof of it, but you know it. You believe it because it's a hunch. You guys, you understand my frustration?
It's much more likely that Lance Twiggs is the one that is walking in that maroon shirt. His build is nothing like Tyler Robinson's build. Lance Twiggs is thinner. And obviously I'm speculating here, but I believe Tyler Robinson was involved, and he was in fact driving around campus on that day, therefore assisting in the costume changes.
So that's what we're going with? That's what we're going with. On a hunch? What has allowed you to believe these things other than a hunch? That's my question. That's a fair question.
Likely picking up clothing. And as we broke the story, Tyler was seen at Dairy Queen. And what was he seen doing, as I told you? Dumping clothing in the cemetery beside that Dairy Queen. So I think that is what his involvement is limited to. That was his job, to get rid of clothing.
Just ignore the fact that he actually changed his clothes, though, right? Ignore the fact that it's his clothes that he changed out of. Ignore that. Ignore that. Ignore that fact. You know, this is the issue. See, I hope you guys are understanding. I hope my Candace Owens fans are understanding my frustration. This is ridiculous. Oh.
Completely a nonsense to think that a person who had never killed anyone was high on adrenaline after a kill and decided to eat Dairy Queen. That doesn't even make sense biologically speaking.
It definitely does if you're a sociopath. It definitely does if you're a genius. There's weird people that do weird stuff that are really smart. It makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense to me. You know, it does. I mean, think about this, you guys. As I told you, right? Because they said no, man, it's impossible. Why he wouldn't be so calm? He'd be frantic. He'd be panicked. That's not true. It's not true. When I was a kid, 16, and I lived a different life, so don't judge me. All right. I wasn't the man that I am today. I lived a different life. I was a gangbanger, and I would go and shoot everything up. Right. I was never panicked. In fact, I got a thrill from running after I did the shooting to a location, changing my clothes, putting away, the little weapon, washing my hands up to my elbows with bleach, putting on my new clothes, going back to the scene of the crime to watch the police look for who did it. Don't tell me that somebody can't do this. I might have grabbed something to eat too. Who knows? But this isn't odd to me. It's only odd to people who, I guess, never lived that kind of life or did those kind of things. So you really think he sent those messages? I do. I do.
There was going to be an adrenaline measure that kicks in after you kill an animal, let alone a person, let alone
How would you know that, Candace? That's another question I got. How would you know that? Have you ever killed somebody? Have you ever shot anybody? Have you ever killed an animal? Have you done any of those things to speak with such conviction of how you would be?
having it be your first kill, and you're like, he just decided to go to DQ, sit down, write some poetic text messages. It's why they are freaking out about that Dairy Queen leak, because it disrupts their narrative. One of many things.
Who's freaking out? Who's freaking out?
That disrupts their narrative. But what about Lance Twiggs, right? This roommate, man, something about him. The roommate of Tyler Robinson is, I think, federally protected. I especially think that because we learned some more interesting facts about him. So
I could tell you he is federally protected because he's cooperating with the FBI, Candace. That was said the day that they caught him. That Lance is cooperating. Come on.
I feel confident, or I shouldn't say completely confident, but I feel like it's okay to venture a guess that he is a federal asset of some description. He could be related to his online work on Discord chats.
He's a witness. He is a witness. I guarantee you, they're going to call that dude to the stand. I guarantee it, Candace. And you know this. I know you know this. I know you know this. Why you, come on now. A federally protected asset? Really? So he was in on it from the start. We're going to all conspire to make Tyler the patsy, and you're going to be in on it.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Anyways,
I can tell.
The right conspired. The turning point. So let me get this straight. Turning point, possibly military from wherever, conspired with Kash Patel, Tyler Robinson's parents, and Lance. Let me get this straight. They all conspired to get Charlie.
You guys, I can break this for you, that the government, and this would implicate Governor Cox and whoever else was a part of that press conference the morning after, the 33 hours after they apprehended Tyler Robinson, the government lied when they said, Lance, I'm obviously paraphrasing here, he came in peacefully.
Yes, Cash, there's a lot of conspiracies around this here in Utah that my government was in on it. I don't agree with it, but there are a lot of them pushing this. That is crazy. That is crazy.
Handed over everything. I mean, the whole depiction was like he was just so shocked that his boyfriend could do something like this. And so he handed over everything. Well, according to his family, that's just not true. According to his family, he was raided and he was angry about that raid. And yet he was instantly released back into their care within 6 hours. Isn't that something?
Hold
they had
on,
no
say
idea
that
what
again. Say that
DQ,
again.
sit down, write some poetic text message. I shouldn't say completely confident, but I feel like it's okay to venture a guess that he is a federal asset of some description. Could be related to his online work on Discord chats. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Anyways, I can tell you guys, I can break this for you, that the government, and this would implicate Governor Cox and whoever else was a part of that press conference the morning after, the 33 hours after they apprehended Tyler Robinson, the government lied when they said, Lance, I'm obviously paraphrasing here. He came in peacefully. He handed over everything. I mean, the whole depiction was like he was just so shocked his boyfriend could do something like this. And so he handed over everything. Well, according to his family, that's just not true. According to his family, he was raided and he was angry about that raid. And yet he was instantly released back into their care within 6 hours.
Okay. So let's say that's the case. Let's say that that's true. That would mean that he didn't have nothing to do with it then, Candace. That means that he was not driving around trying to help with clothes and whatever. That would mean that dude had nothing. Lance ain't got nothing to do with it. In my mind. Maybe I heard you wrong. I don't know. This is a lot. This is where it gets
Isn't that
crazy.
something? They had
It's
no
hard.
idea what was happening. They were going off of Mike, the mysterious detective, Mike Mitchell's tip. They had no confession. They have Tyler Robinson walking in peacefully because he doesn't want to die. And you're telling me Lance Twiggs, for whatever reason, you released him immediately back into custody? No, they lied. He was not being compliant and walking in and showing them everything. Something else that was interesting, we had told you guys that Tyler's family thought that there could have been.
I'm sorry, but I didn't even hear that. I know Cash Patel said that they raided that dude's crib. I never heard about no walking in peacefully. I know Cash Patel was on Fox News and he said, yeah, we went in dude's house, got everything. We found a letter. They tried to destroy the letter, but because of our amazing forensics team, I'm paraphrasing, that we were able to retrieve what was exactly on that letter that dude, Tyler, left underneath the keyboard or wherever he left it up under, and basically talking to his boyfriend. And yeah, so did the government over there get something wrong? Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I don't know nothing about Utah really, except that my boy Casey lives there. You know what I'm saying? But that still doesn't add to any of what you're saying, man. You're just all over the place right now.
Something weird going on with that raid, that perhaps the feds could have been staging that apartment to fit into their narrative. Now, the feds are staging this entire operation, so that would follow that if you're trying to get a conviction, you got to be like, and we found this in his house.
Hold on. Say what, Casey Cash? That part you're slightly off on. They didn't find a letter. They have a photo of it. Well, I don't know. I heard Cash Patel say, I'll pull it up after this. I heard Cash Patel say that they tried to destroy the letter and they found like fragments of it and the team was able to, I don't know, they did something to it. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up after this with him talking about what they did. But I ain't never heard him say that they gently, that dude gently walked in there, and I ain't never heard none of that. I could be completely wrong. I'll go back and watch it again and see if that's what he actually said.
The note underneath the
But even so, it doesn't support what she's talking about.
keyboard. So convenient, but he destroyed it. He took a picture of it, but then he destroyed it. Because everybody knows if you want to destroy something so it never sees the light of day, you take a picture of it so it lives forever in the iCloud.
Okay, yeah, you're right then. You're right, Casey. He said that they destroyed the letter, and that's how they were able to corroborate it, that they got a fragment of that letter that was still, whatever, and it matched, I guess, the photo. Maybe that's what it was. I got to go back and see, but yeah.
Anyways, we were told by Lance's family who, by the way, own the apartment that the two of them lived in, that Tyler and Lance lived in. We were told that somebody illegally changed their locks on the home following the raid. Obviously illegal. They were not informed that the locks were being changed. So it gives us two options. It was either Lance or it was the feds.
It probably was Lance. I don't know if you understand. Look, my house been raided before. Okay? I want y'all to understand something. They kick your door in. It could bust your lock. Most times after your house gets raided, you ask anybody who's been raided. Ask anybody. Most times you got to change your lock. What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on.
I was wondering, like, if you're Lance and you really got swept up in this and you're so shocked that Tyler Robinson did this, are you speaking to your family about that? My gosh, I'd imagine you want to speak to your family. No, it seems Lance has similarly been in an unknown location since the raid. I would imagine he was in witness protection for a bit, but he doesn't need family. He feels, I would say, that suggests that he's pretty arrogant right now in this moment. He's not fearful of anything. Like I said, the sense I am getting is we are watching a play, right?
There it is again. There it is. You heard it? See if you catch the wordplay. Listen, listen close. Put it in the chat if you hear it. Remember, she just made a claim, right? She just made a claim of what she believes, and it's her suspicion and all of this stuff. See if you catch the wordplay.
Are you speaking to your family about that? My gosh, I'd imagine you want to speak to your family. No, it seems Lance has similarly been in an unknown location since the raid. I would imagine he was in witness protection for a bit, but he doesn't need family. He feels, I would say, that suggests that he's pretty arrogant right now in this moment. He's not fearful of anything. Like I said, the sense I am getting is we are watching a play, right? The government has us completely distracted with photos of people.
I suggest, it's my suspicion, I would say, come on.
People who are not even the same person. I never for a second thought the person that was in the maroon shirt was the same as the person that was walking with the limp. It's completely foolish and ridiculous.
You don't think that that's the person that was walking with the limp? Even though dude had to get back to his car, which was down that road. You don't think. But you're not going to tell me why, I'm sure. I'm going to let you keep talking. But I'm pretty sure you're not going to tell me why you don't believe that.
I can also tell you something else. We received a tip, which I vetted, that on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, immediately George Zinn gets up and says, I did it. And he kind of gets dragged. Well, apparently George Zinn had to receive medical treatment following that, little fracas. And he told multiple nurses and doctors that he did it because he was being paid to do it. He said he had not been paid yet, but he was going to receive payment. He didn't know from who.
Hold on. Say that again. You lost me.
Person that was in the maroon shirt was the same as the person that was walking with the limp. It's completely foolish and ridiculous. I can also tell you something else. We received a tip, which I vetted, that
I could tell you something else. We received a tip, of which I vetted.
On the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination, immediately George Zinn gets up and says, I did it. And he kind of gets dragged. Well, apparently George Zinn had to receive medical treatment following that, little fracas. And he told multiple nurses and doctors that he did it because he was being paid to do it. He said
Y'all see how that works? You see how that works? You done forgot the fact that she just said that she received a tip and she vetted it. That part has been forgotten now because we're drawn into the story. That he said, she speaks slow to lose you a little bit, build up the momentum. He said that he was paid to do it. He told multiple nurses. Come on.
had not been paid yet, but he was going to receive payment. He didn't know from who.
Okay, that just sounds like a complete lie. Not saying that Candace is telling a lie intentionally. All I'm saying is that somebody's giving you a tip that's not a tip at all. It's a lie. Because this dude has allegedly been at the 9/11 thing. This dude was at all kind of different events, right? The Boston Marathon bombing. This dude is known to be out there in crowds lying about stuff. Come on, man. Come on.
That's interesting. Decoy boy told medical staff apparently he was just singing, just telling everybody who would listen that he did it.
Anthony, you say that means she talked to the nurses. That what she means by vetted? No, if that's what she meant, she would have said that. Believe it. That's what she would have said. I talked to the nurses and it has been confirmed. That's how she talks. I've talked to the nurses and it has been confirmed. That's what she would have said.
Because payment was going to be promised to him if he did do it. What does that tell us? We should definitely dig into George Zinn. We should definitely try to confirm this relatively strong tip that he has connections to the feds, because it would be very interesting if the feds were going to pay George Zinn. I'm not saying they are, but yeah, why wouldn't he know? I mean, make that make sense. Why wouldn't George Zinn know where the payment was coming from? Yeah. Anyways, you guys, we are on the case. I wanted to share that with you. Some other explosive things that we have found out that the feds have not shared. Other people that they were questioning that they did not share. People that similarly
Now this I want to hear. This is something I want to hear.
have been told to be quiet about everything. And let's be clear, they are not asking everyone to be silent because they are seeking a conviction against Tyler Robinson. They are telling everybody to be silent because they don't want to get caught. The feds are covering their own tracks. All right, guys, I'm going to pivot here and I want to read you something. Oh, now I want to be...
Did she just say that the feds are trying to cover their own tracks?
That they did not share. People that similarly have been told to be quiet about everything. And let's be clear, they are not asking everyone to be silent because they are seeking a conviction against Tyler Robinson. They are telling everybody to be silent because they don't want to get caught.
How do you know that? It's in every case. They tell people don't talk about none of the stuff because it could taint the jury pool, get somebody off. Don't. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
The feds are covering their own tracks. All right, guys, I'm going to pivot here and I want to read you something. Oh, now I want to be perfectly clear that despite all appearances over the last 2 weeks, it has been a very difficult time for me. Obviously, normally when I'm covering a story, I'm bombastic and I feel brave and focused because I am speaking about someone that has nothing to do with me. This has been particularly challenging because I had, and I still am, very much grieving Charlie and waking up.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. One bit. But you doing all these things. And again, I'm not talking about the asking questions. I'm not talking about the asking questions. Talking about the claims surrounding Charlie's death. And you say that you feel that way. Can you imagine how his family feels? I wonder how many people be in Erica's inbox messaging Erica Kurt about the things that you allege or direct thought to. So if you're feeling drained and you're still grieving Charlie, do you think that his wife isn't? Just saying. This is why you ain't gonna get an apology out of me, Candace.
Up to the realization that not everyone is grieving him in the same way, that he may have just been a political pawn to so many people that he loved deeply. I mean, I'm going to be honest, even Donald Trump's non-reaction, not making any demands for truth regarding this investigation.
Why would Trump need to question the investigation when it's his guys investigating it that he trusts enough to put in key positions to be lead on these types of things? Just a question.
deeply upsets me. It deeply upsets me because I know how much Charlie Kirk loved Donald Trump. So I was just I was happy. It brought literal tears to my eyes when a donor from Turning Point USA, a donor that actually then unlocked a whole another level of donations for Charlie Kirk through introductions that he made for Charlie, and a donor who ironically, this is the very donor that when I said to Charlie, we need to be in the UK, we need to be in the UK. And he was like, well, I know somebody who I could maybe have set up an event. And we can.
All right, guys, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with this. All right, I was thinking maybe I might have to apologize, but no, I don't. I don't have to apologize. I'm still going to listen in. I'm still praying for you, Candace. I am. Real talk. I'm for real praying for you. And by the way, I only considered apologizing because of Turning Point USA, the dude that was sitting in Charlie's chair. But even now, no. Matter of fact, scratch it all, because it's like, yeah, no, it's everything you just said, where I was thinking maybe it could be something. It could be something behind this, right? No, I'm sticking with it. This kid was just deranged. Maybe he had some extra help from somebody. Don't think it was military. I still don't think it was, Jews. I still don't think it was Israel. I still don't think it was, I honestly, now, because of listening to you even more, I don't even think it was anybody that would, betrayed him in Turning Point USA. Now I'm just like back at square one, like, no, because you lost me. When you do all of this stuff, see, I'm realizing that the only people that you're going to keep is the people that have been with you, that you've built up trust with over time, or, you tickle their curiosity. But I don't think any new people are joining the cause because of this stuff. I don't think so. It's ridiculous is what it is. And yeah, it's crazy. What was it? I mean, it went from right now, like all in the same show. Somebody betrayed him. I think it was military. I don't think it was Tyler. Lance wasn't even involved. No, Lance was involved. The FBI, they covering their tracks. What else was it? Beehives. I can't forget the beehives. Beehive cult. What else? I don't know. Only thing that I can say that was real is that Charlie was questioning some things pertaining to Israel. That's for sure. I don't dispute that. And he said that, And then his friend, who isn't out here doing what was going on with you, Candace, he ain't doing that. He did say, for months, he's been having some thoughts, and it's been for months now. So in between the BB letter and the text chain that you showed. That's about it. That's all that I could say. Okay, yeah, you were honored about that. He had some questions about Israel. Didn't explicitly say he was, anti-Israel or anything like that, but that's about all. I mean, even the text where you say that he was going to bring you back on stage, that was another part I forgot to say. You said, this was your words, that he was going to bring you back on stage with him, and that they took him out 48 hours before you can have that reunion. Unless you show some more of them texts that say, like, you got a text message saying you and Charlie talking and planning an event where you was going to be on stage with him. That don't fly, because he didn't say in that text that you showed us that he was bringing you back. He said, I'm thinking of bringing her back. Like he was debating it in his own mind, thinking about it. So, I don't know. But that's all I got. I mean, anybody want to add anything? We can go through some of these chats right now. Any questions, concerns? You want to become a member of my YouTube channel? I know I'm not as interesting as Candace. I'm not going to take you guys down the rabbit holes like this. I mean, I might talk about, I don't know, like the moon landing or something. That's fun. Hollow Earth. That's really fun. That's a fun conspiracy. No conspiracies that are gonna, do this. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Say believe her, bro. No, I refuse. I'm sorry. I can't. For me to believe Candace Owens would mean that I have to throw away my rational thinking, which is what I did through this whole show. I was using I did a little bit of thought about what she was saying. And then I remember I was scratching my head. You guys remember, you were here. I was scratching my head and I'm like, oh, Anthony, you want to hear her take on the letter? All right, fine. I'll stay on. I'll do it. I'll stay on for you, bro. Just because you want to hear the letter, I'll stay on and we'll go through it. I'll bring it back up. But y'all seen me. I'm not trying to be bogus. Like I'm for real listening to hear what she got to say. And I was scratching my head and I was leaning in like, oh, this is interesting. But now all these other claims get made. And now I'm just like, nah, you feeding me some BS, bro. You trying to pee on me and tell me it's raining. That's what you doing. The letter. What letter? My take on which letter? The BB letter? What? Oh, my take on the letter she's about to read. All right, let's go.
Turning Point UK, and that event was when I first laid eyes on George. Not when I spoke to him, but when I actually first laid eyes on him. That donor issued a public statement. And I think he will be the first of many donors that might make a public statement. And he made this statement in my favor. This was written by him and his wife, two wonderful people, John and Irina Mappin. I'm just going to read it because I think these words don't just eloquently express how I'm feeling, but I think these words eloquently might express how we are all feeling worldwide. Like I read this and I said to myself, I couldn't have written this better myself with all.
Brief pause so I don't get dinged. We'll go back.
The time in the world. John and Irina write, Charlie Kirk built Turning Point USA on transparency, free speech, and a relentless pursuit of truth. We are witness to that. If Candace Owens had been assassinated, Charlie would have torn apart every lie and devoted every working day and night to uncovering the full truth. He would not have trusted the authorities to deliver justice. He would have demanded it from the rooftops. Charlie would not have waited for the funeral or memorial to happen. He would have gotten to work immediately. He would have worked night and day to uncover exactly what had happened to his great friend. Consider this. Charlie did not sleep for several days and several nights just to ensure that J.D. Vance became the vice presidential nominee. And although that job was supremely important for the country and its future, it was still ultimately simply helping to secure a job promotion. Candace is working to get to the truth of who killed Charlie Kirk and why they did it. Charlie's execution is an assassination with potentially far-reaching political consequences for America and the world. What we have seen so far beggars belief. A crime scene apparently completely destroyed in days, and plenty of evidence that simply does not add up. This investigation and the truthful answer as to who was really responsible for deciding that Charlie would be executed in front of the world will affect America's future, its collective soul and conscience forever. The truth, when known, and we believe it will be known, will have far-reaching international consequences. The very idea that someone could be convicted and could receive the death penalty when there remains even the slightest shadow of doubt or shred of uncertainty that they may not be guilty of that crime, and that Christian souls would tolerate that possibility, is anathema to all the teachings of Christ. If there were circumstances where a suspect or someone standing trial for murder did not have a clean opportunity to receive the very best and fairest legal representation to present their case and defense to the world, it would have been abhorrent to Charlie Kirk. It would go against every constitutional principle that he lived, fought, and died for. Erica is in mourning. May God bless her and her family. Please give her and her family time to grieve. Any civilized culture, Christian or otherwise, allows a grieving widow 40 days of mourning to make peace with the Lord and to respect the departed. Those people who truly love her would gladly grant her all the space she needs. We certainly do. But we are growing rather sick and ashamed of seeing people criticize Candace for doing her level best to get to the bottom of and to the truth of what happened to Charlie on that day. You don't have to agree with Candace on every subject that she addresses on her shows to acknowledge that much of what she is presenting on the subject of Charlie's death is extremely concerning to America and to the world, completely valid and very relevant to the investigation. She has an army of truth seekers worldwide who are helping her in her search and her research. This is a truly new and modern phenomenon that has never happened before. This is not 1963, and boomers need to get used to it. In our view, the official investigation should be immediately ordered by the appropriate legal authority to proactively share everything they know with Candace and her selected team. That is, if truth and real understanding of who decided to assassinate Charlie and why is the sincere objective.
Come on.
That would go some way towards restoring.
I'm sorry, you guys. Come on. Look, nice lady and husband, I'm sure. Who made you the authority that says that the authorities should give anything to somebody who's just a social media influencer? Come on, man. This is a love letter. Come on.
Public trust in the system. It is our view that her actions are not just the actions that any real friend would take for their friend. They are the actions of the highest order of patriotism. Candace's actions are service to the whole country and to the world. Beyond that, they are truly providential, divinely inspired, and metaphysical. There is a relationship between truth and all living things. There is a relationship between truth and God. Right now, Turning Point USA is at a vital moment. If we continue to witness the mistreatment and the suppression of a young woman and a mother of 4 young children who is doing everything she can to help get to the truth about who decided that her friend and fellow freedom fighter Charlie had to die, they will lose the country and the world. And America will have lost one of its greatest living patriots only to see those factors against which he fought and died for win. Candace's extremely valid point that hers has so far been one of the only public voices from Charlie's closest friends questioning the absurdity of some of the communications regarding what happened and demanding clarity is well made. And frankly, that point alone is shocking to the world. We have been receiving calls from senior Republicans and from Turning Point donors who agree with her all last week, and they started up again this week. They agree with Candace, but seeing the attacks that she is experiencing, they are terrified to voice their views publicly. Is that really where we are in 2025? Few people following the matter believe the official version. A low minority believe that the current suspect is guilty. That statistic alone is an awful commentary on the state of the official investigation. The world wants truth. The world, Charlie, and those who truly loved him and knew his purposes certainly deserve justice. But justice needs not just to be done. It needs to be seen to be done justly. I want to read that sentence again because it's very powerful. Justice needs not just to be done. It needs to be seen to be done justly. It must be truthful, it must be fair, and it must be clean. If there are videos, show them. If there is evidence, show it. The world is not going to accept anything less.
Okay, that's not fair. If there's evidence, show it. The world is not going to accept anything else. Why don't we hold the same standard then for Candace, who's supposed to be investigating, saying, Candace, you got all this evidence, you need to show it, because the American people who follow you are not going to accept anything less.
This is not about who is right or wrong or whose theory is correct. Candace's investigation is about actually getting to the truth, whatever that truth is. If the current theory for the shooter is truth, then okay. If that is a lie, then we need to know. Every episode of Candace's show since Charlie died, from her heartfelt emotional tribute to her exceptional journalism, has been incredible, and anyone who cares for the truth and who wants to know who killed Charlie for real should watch every episode in its sequence. The fact is,
I have. Listen, people that sent this letter to Candace, donors. I don't know. Are they Jewish donors? Question. Don't know. I can't imagine that they would be, because, you probably wouldn't have called them good people, Candace. But come on, bro. This
is that we are being told as his friends, or simply as people who had never heard of Charlie Kirk before his assassination, simply does not make sense to the vast majority. It feels like gaslighting. It feels like we are being lied to. It is not hard to tell the truth to the public or to present the clear facts that illustrate the truth clearly. Many extremely ethical people helped to build Turning Point and all associated groups, Turning Point Action and Turning Point Faith. Many of these people are existing and potential future donors. We know many of them. Ethical people will not stand for lies or injustice, either privately or publicly. The existing and future donors who were friends of Charlie's and those he loved deserve no less. But please spare us the absurd and evil suppression of suggesting that Candace should not be doing exactly what she is doing. She is doing no more and no less than what her friend Charlie would have done for her. Her actions are far more reasonable and experienceable than an assassin's bullet to the throat. Consider for a moment the evil of possibly allowing the conviction of a potentially innocent party with the death penalty. We can only
See, this is BS, bro. This is BS. And this is the problem that I'm having with this letter, okay? You're running the notion that Candace is great and everything that she's doing is what Charlie would have did, and she's going to be a part of history and all this, you know, she's just, her butt smells like roses, all of that, right? Holding the United States government to the standard of saying, you know, if you have evidence, you need to show it because the American people won't hold anything less, but not holding Candace to that standard. Then challenging people's Christianity. And this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It really is.
begin to imagine the wrath of God and how upset Charlie will be if an innocent man were to be executed for his assassination, and what ill fortune.
And then you go on to make it seem like this dude is innocent. That's another thing. How is anybody, I don't get what evidence is pointing to the fact that this dude is innocent. He literally is caught on camera with a freaking gun on top of a roof. What do you mean innocent? Even let's say for argument's sake, he didn't take the shot. He still was implicated in this. That means that it was a setup that he was in on to let somebody else get away. How is he innocent? He's just as guilty as the mysterious shooter that nobody knows about, that Candace seems to know about, and these donors need to know about. It doesn't make any sense. Come on, man.
Would befall a Christian country and the individuals that would allow this. In this sense, Christianity and a leading Christian democracy are now on trial. There's a special place in eternity reserved for those who would allow such an injustice. If Turning Point and Charlie left in charge, if Turning Point and those who Charlie left in charge failed to stay true to the principles and purposes on which Charlie founded it, and with which he and Candace originally breathed life into it during its formative years.
Okay, time out. Okay. Let me just go through these comments real quick. You don't know Cash until proven guilty. Okay. He was never caught with possession of the gun. He was caught on camera with the freaking gun, y'all. We're just going to throw away all here. This is what we're doing. Throw away all the evidence that the FBI say that they got. Throw away all the evidence and let's just trust Candace. Let's just trust Candace. That's what we're going with. Because that's what we're going with. I'm out. And even so, you say he's innocent, right? Even again, here's the point. If you're saying that he had nothing to do with it, that you're calling this man innocent, he showed up on the campus to be the patsy. If you guys are running with this story, right, that he's innocent, that he didn't take the shot, he still was involved. How is he innocent? How is he innocent? Tell me that. Come on, man.
Then Turning Point will end up like MySpace. It will become just one more ineffective and rather dull has-been activity. I believe that God has other plans for Charlie and for his legacy. A cover-up of the truth is not, in my view, part of God's plans. I believe that people of goodwill from all over the world will ensure that. Keep going, Candace. Charlie is walking with you every step of the way. He loves you deeply, and you are right about your friendship with him. Never at any time, through all the challenges that the political arena and life brought, did he ever withdraw his friendship from you, Candace. You are an eternal cornerstone in his life and his legacy. What a great friend you are being to him. We are all witness to that. All of our love, John and Irina. Oh, it's going to make me cry again. It's just like, I really needed it. I don't know.
Okay. Say they always quick to put away or take out the one that they got for the crime, like taking out so-called JFK assassin before he could go to trial with evidence shown. If they take him out, I will say, hey, you know what, guys, there's something here. He's alive. Okay. He's in a turtle suit. I seen him. All right. He isn't innocent, but he wasn't alone. Okay. So then why are these people and Candace saying that he's innocent? This is you can't have it both ways. Either Candace is telling you the truth or Candace is lying. The dude ain't innocent. He ain't innocent, period. Point blank. He's not innocent. He was in on it so in on it, in my opinion, that he's the one that took the shot. But if we're going with Candace's story, no. He didn't take the shot, but he's innocent. But he's not because he was in on it, because there's a conspiracy. There's a whole bunch of people. He's a part of it. Come, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, you guys. Straight up. Off roof, I've never seen the gun. Well, if you go and look at the video that Matt shared of dude when he's on the roof and he jumps down off the roof with the towel and the gun, it's there. It's right there. It is right there. Yep, just a figure on a roof at this point. True enough, but the figure is him. They have him going to the freaking roof, everyone. It'll come out. You'll see it in the trial. You're all going to see it in the trial. Again, the worst patsy ever. Yeah. This is not the act of a lone kid. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you about it. He was a decoy boy bought and paid for. Maybe. I'm not going to say he's not a decoy boy bought and paid for. I don't know that. All I know is that all evidence points to him being the guy. That's all I'm saying so far. And we ain't even got it all yet. But, you know, anyone who reads this publicly about themselves, I don't know. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. That's all I'm saying, my brother. That's all. Charlie is not walking with her. He's walking with the Lord. For sure. I agree with a commenter. This will be a way to sway the jury in the future. Yeah. Yep. He went up there with the gun, but not down. That's exactly. Her narcissism is showing. Just stop judgment before the trial. Okay, tell Candace that. Tell Candace to stop calling him innocent before the trial. That's going to taint the jury pool. Why are we concerned with stop judgment before the trial with somebody calling him guilty, but not with one that's calling him innocent? Come on, binary. Come on. That's how they distract us to divert attention. I'm not saying Candace is telling the truth. I never said he was innocent. I know you didn't, D. So Cash, you don't question anything about it? Yeah, I got questions about it. 100%, especially after listening to Charlie Kirk's friend that was on his show that spoke saying that the text was real. And then everything he said now for sure got me scratching my head, and I got some questions, but not enough to make some claims, just to have some thoughts. Like, who was Charlie worried about? Why was his friends thinking I need to send this to the FBI, these text messages? Because they did. So yes, I have real questions, but not enough to make a claim. Not enough to sit up here and tell you the FBI's in on it, Israel's in on it, or military's in on it, or Tyler's innocent, or Lance is innocent, or Lance is in. Not enough of that. The pictures don't even match, though. It looks like a guy that the media put out. Yes, it does, bro. If you look there, just so everybody knows, and I didn't mean to call you bro, Vicky, my bad. That's just me speaking. But there was a picture that went around that was generated by AI that got more views, a lot more views than the actual picture that was put out. I don't know if everybody's aware of that, but there was a fake image going around to where now everybody's saying that it doesn't look like the shooter. Every single picture that they have put out looks exactly like the real picture, looks exactly like Tyler. The one that is obviously AI, and if you put it through the little thing that tells you if something's AI, it tells you that the one that it got a whole bunch of views is AI. It's fake. Oh. Also using God to shame people who question her, don't agree with her. What about Erica? Yeah, exactly. Most people have never and will never be intimately involved with any death penalty case I have. It's way different than a normal trial. Real talk. Too many AI things out now. 100%. I definitely don't think he's innocent. Me either. Lyman's involved. Maybe. I don't know. KK, I'll look. Thank you. No problem, Priscilla. Love you. Jody says, I like Candace at one time, but she is hard to watch anymore. I just got for real frustrated. This is why I don't like to watch this and do a live, because I get frustrated, and I don't want to be frustrated in front of y'all. But I did. I just got legit frustrated because I feel like I apply my logic, man, and my ration to the situation, and it's reasonable. But then people will act like you're just a demon for questioning Queen Candace. It's insane. I lost my husband suddenly to a heart attack 4 years ago. I had some questioning events surrounding his death with zero regard to me, and weeks following, I'd be scarred for life. Yeah, real talk. All pieces have the hallmark of three-letter agency. Maybe. No, it isn't affecting jury. Stop. Okay, you got it. Exactly the most judgment I've seen before trial is from Candace. Yeah. Yes. To keep investigation open. Good to know. I fully agree. I'm here with you. I have a lot of questions, but I can't get past the worst pass yet. I feel that. Has anyone explained the military jet that was there? Yes, they have. Why on earth would the military be involved in this? Good question, but they wouldn't. You can't say he's guilty for sure. I can. 100% I can. I don't think you're a demon at all. I've watched you since your first viral video with nothing COVID or whatever it was, but everybody was a different opinion, and that's okay. I appreciate you, Vicky, and I love you. We should, and thank you for still being here. That's dope. We should question everything and use discernment. Yes. We should question everything. Yes. Nope, but can't say he's innocent either. I can't get past the worst fantasy ever. I'm so sick of you. Yeah, that's too funny. But that's real. That's real, man. It just blows my mind. It really does. It's crazy, you guys. I'm sorry, but it is. It's crazy. We live in an age where everything is on display. But you see how AI is affecting everything. Okay? AI has got people believing that the false image doesn't look like Tyler. Newsflash, it wasn't Tyler in the AI picture. It was a freaking AI generated picture. Of course it's not going to look like Tyler, you know? But we're in this place where it's easy to fall into conspiracy. And it is fun. This one's not fun. This conspiracy theory is not fun to me. I love conspiracy theories. They're really, really fun. I really love talking about the moon landing. It used to be one of my favorite ones was flat earth. I used to love the flat earth conspiracy. And guess what? Because of our modern technology today and somebody showing up to Antarctica and recording for 24 hours of a sun going around it, it shattered the fun that I used to have with the flat earth. Shattered it completely. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, this one isn't fun. This conspiracy, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to be glad when it's all over. I'm going to be glad when it's all over and dude's brought to justice and we can lay all of this stuff to rest. Exactly. Amy says, exactly. Candace doesn't have enough to make a claim. So what is she doing? That Candace would read this love letter about herself publicly is cringe. Yeah. If someone poisoned him though, you fifis would get in the way of police finding a guilty party and they'd get away with it, but you don't have to think about it. So that'd be better. No, I think you're just misunderstanding everything, Binary. I think you're just misunderstanding. God only knows what's true. Yes. Cash, do you really think that was a 30-06? I don't know. I know what we're being told was found. I don't know. Until we get a report, I couldn't say. I couldn't tell you what I believe. I could tell you this, that I believe that Charlie Kirk was shot. I could tell you that. I believe that Charlie Kirk was shot because that's a fact. We've seen that, right? They showed me the picture of a gun. I don't know if that's the gun that did it. I don't know. I've got to look and see ballistic reports and all of that from people that know what they're talking about. I don't know anything about ballistics. I don't know anything about shooting a 30-06. I don't know. I know that the people that I've watched shown how it is possible for a 30-06 to shoot somebody from that distance, from the angle, especially because of the angle, and it hit in a way that when it hits, the spine or however it'll do, fragment, blow the body back, not exit through the way that it came in and come out through the front or go down, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And we have not yet seen the report to see if that really did happen. What if the report comes out and says, look, the bullet did enter right here, right? And then ricocheted up, hit the spine, the fragment blew out the neck, and then everything else went down and messed up Charlie Kirk's whole insides. When we seen the shirt go back, they said that that's consistent with a bullet hitting somebody's spine. Boom, that impact, the velocity of that bullet, they say, from what I watched, and I'm not an expert, they say that is very possible. It can happen. Even physicists, you know what I'm saying, was examining. I'm watching physicists talk about it, and from a standpoint of science and physics, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I believe these guys more than the people on the internet, for sure. You say it's all exhausting sometimes, yeah. Let's just agree that both sides need to bring receipts. Can't trust any of them. Exactly, bro. That's exactly right. I think that we need to not even worry about receipts, really. I think we need to wait for the whole report to come out, for the trial to be over, and we get all the evidence that they have. You know what I'm saying? When someone is physically abused, they may not want to talk about it, but that doesn't stop necessary investigation. That is completely different, Binary. Come on, that's disingenuous. That's completely different. Those text messages from Tyler to his boyfriend didn't sound right. Fact. Right. It didn't sound right to you because you're probably a heterosexual person that doesn't have furry talk. You know what I'm saying? I don't either. They sounded strange to me as well. But I can't call them fake. I don't know how that community talks. Maybe they share that kind of lingo. I don't know. April Chapman on YouTube has 2 lives where she talks about CO. Please. No, I don't want to go into I checked her out, but I don't want to get into, I'm not trying to bash Candace Owens. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to bash her. I'm trying to bring down the crap that she's putting out that leads people into a conspiracy theory that makes 0 sense, you know, and could potentially, for real, could taint a jury pool. There's a lot of Candace Owens fans out there, straight up. Nothing makes sense to me now. I'm confused. We know not a 30-6. I don't know. I feel you, though. Give it a few more days and Candace will be blaming the Jews. Yeah, and for real. Y'all don't understand. I trained as a law enforcement and graduated for criminal justice. We don't stop investigation to spare feelings. 85% of the time, the first person they look at is the spouse. I get all of that. And I got other police officers that was in here. Shelly's a police officer actively right now in Chicago full time. And she disagrees with every single thing that Candace Owens is saying. Literally. So it's like, again, it's still, no matter what your background is, if you have a bias and Candace is your hero, then obviously you're going to agree with Candace Owens. Utah law prevents the autopsy from being public. We won't ever see it. Exactly. Unless Erica comes out and says, hey, I want them to see the autopsy. Kind of quiet in this chat room. Let me be the first to say hello and that I appreciate you. Hello, and I appreciate you for being here. And it's only quiet maybe on X. X is different kind. I don't really do X that much. I mean, I post my stuff up there, but everybody right now is watching from YouTube and Facebook heavy. So if you want to come over to either one of those, then you're more than welcome. So they can't allow spouse feelings to end an investigation. I don't know. I thought the doctor said he had miracle bones, that his bones stopped the bullet. Very strange. That's paraphrased what he said, but that's just his opinion. You know what I'm saying? He's not a bullet expert. You know what I'm saying? He's not a ballistics expert. He's a guy that just, looks at bodies after they pass away. How is it different? They investigate murder. I don't know, Binary. I don't know. Regardless of feelings or real active pain, I don't know. So you're saying Erica Kirk killed her husband or had him killed? I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that. That might be what, somebody else is saying. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that one bit. Innocent until proven guilty, right? That's what the judge says before the trial to the jury. 100%. Stay safe, Shelly. We always praying for Shelly. Love Shelly to death. Disagreeing with her take isn't the same as ending investigation. Nobody's calling for an ending of the investigation. We're calling to let the professionals be the one to investigate, not somebody who just uses investigator as their title that has zero credibility in investigating. That's all I'm saying. I heard that Tyler's parents hired the Mendez. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. Back for a second time. Glad you're still alive. Yeah, we've been going. I'm hitting the chat now. I should do this more. This is actually fun. Panties are weighted over there. Wadded over there, yeah. Could be. My best buddy, a cop, big hunter. I'm no CO super fan. I think we are shooting ourselves in the foot when we attack over questioning. That's not what's happening. I don't know how many times I got to say it. That's not what's happening. It's not about questioning for me. It's about crazy conspiracy she's throwing out there. Exactly. You get it. There was big money involved. Lost missing money on Charlie's side, and big money offered and rejected. Money talks and money causes reactions. Wonder what his life insurance was worth. I don't know. Like when they try to get us to sign away our Second Amendment rights by pushing false narratives around Kyle Rittenhouse and other such cases. Wow, where did that come from? I don't know. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe I should read these comments before I pull them up here, right? Let's not forget that she started this tirade the day after Charlie died. She should have given respect to the mourners. It's a very, very, very good point. 1,000 or 100% Ali 04 the same. Yeah. 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 Yeah, you're right. I am 100% a conspiracy fan. I said that though. I'm a fun conspiracy fan. You know what I'm saying? You notice the conspiracies that I got away from, right? You notice the conspiracy I got away from? I got away from the conspiracy of, talking about the people that wear the small hats. You know why? Because I kept studying, right? That's it. You keep studying. The further you study things, the better off that you're going to be in understanding what you should and should not talk about for the wrong reason, right? And that's as far as it goes, man. Once you prove yourself wrong, there's not a need to keep going and talking about something. Once you prove yourself wrong, if you keep talking about the thing that you've proved yourself wrong on, why keep talking about it? And again, let's just be real. We're acting like Candace didn't get caught up in a couple lies. The main one for me was the whole playing the clip intentionally to push her narrative, knowing that she was leading her people into a lie. And I'm going to use her thing. Omission of the truth is still a lie. Right? Just judging her on the same standard. Yeah. Hey, Pam, how you doing? All right. Amy said, I heard the sound before someone said it was a 30-06. I heard that sound since I was a kid. I knew that was what it was before they said it was. I could be wrong, but that's what my mom used, honey. Yeah. A lot of people said it is. That's what I'm saying. You got some people to say it is, and then you got some people say, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And whatever. Like, that's not even it. For me, it's not a deal breaker. If it was or if it wasn't, it's whatever. Right? But what is going on here is, and here's the problem. You're putting so much distrust, not just in the FBI, not just in Turning Point USA. You're putting it in Trump. You're putting it on on Trump, on the government. You're getting people to think that everybody except for you is telling the truth. That's the problem. That's my whole thing. None of Charlie's friends are actually his good friends because they would be doing exactly what I'm doing. Even Trump isn't doing what I'm doing. The FBI's lying. The military, putting bad faith on the military. All of that. It's like discrediting everything. I can't get with that without some proof, bro. With some proof. That's it. What'd you say, Anthony? Let me go back and see Anthony's post. Does anybody wonder why Erica hasn't asked her to stop? She has said she would if Erica asked her to stop. No. I just chalk it up to she is grieving. And then maybe she communicated that to Turning Point USA, which multiple times have reached out to Candace Owens. I'm just making an assumption. But it's a fact that they reached out to Candace Owens and asked her to stop. And when they did, and remember, Erica is the CEO. So Turning Point USA is asking her to stop, then that's essentially who? If a letter came to her from Turning Point USA, who is that asking her to stop? That's Erica. But when she got the letter, what'd she say? She made a post. What was the post? What did it say? Why do they want me to stop? What is it that they don't want you to know? Instead of just stopping. I mean, that's it. That's it. Maybe she has other things going on. Yeah. Erica is grieving. She doesn't have to do that. Candace needs to have some humanity and do this more respectful way. Yeah, that would have been nice. I've noticed that. Yes, no, I don't dodge no questions, my brother. You know that. Come on now. I'm good for having a conversation. I'm all about that. But, I mean, I can't answer things that I just don't know. I can tell you this from using my brain. If Erica is now the CEO of Turning Point USA and Turning Point USA issues a statement asking her to stop, then obviously that came from Erica. That's just the way that I look at it. Right? But then you turn around and say, why do you want me to keep quiet? Why do they not want me to talk about this? I don't know. But that's it. We're done. I think we're done, guys. Thank you guys for the super chats that I received. Lori and Amy, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys that shared this thing out. Thank you everybody who liked it, who liked this video, enjoyed this content. If you're new to my channel, do me a favor and subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. And yeah, man, this is crazy. Now I want y'all to notice something. Y'all gonna try to come for me. I want you to notice something. I did not call Candace out of her name. I didn't disrespect Candace. I'm talking about things that are said and you know, just the narratives that she's pushing. That's all. Candace, I love you as my sister, right? I love you as my sister in Christ, bro. But you keep losing me. You had me for a sec. You had me for a sec when you played Dude's clip. I ain't gonna lie. You had me for a second scratching my head. But now, as I finished out the show, like normal, I'm like, nah, I can't get behind this because this is ridiculous. You led me down too many rabbit holes. Made too many claims that I just can't get with. But I love you and I'm praying for you. You know what I'm saying? And if you really are for real hurting, which I don't got a reason to think that you're not, I pray that God comforts you, you know, eases your mind and gives you some real revelation, man. That's my prayer, is that he gives you some real revelation to where you could just take a step and be like, yo, let me go ahead and let me take a step back. Let me take a beat real quick. This doesn't need to happen. Not like this. All right. Hope y'all have a good night. Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light, because only you can be the change you wish to see in this world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America. And without God, everything falls apart. All right. So get to know Christ. Get to know Christ, man. Guarantee you be the best decision you ever made in your life. I promise you. You know why I know? It is for me. And you can have the comfort of knowing that when you do leave this earth, that you're going to be set forever with all the people that went before you that also had them. So there's that. I hope you have a really, really good night for real. Thank you for tuning in. I'm gone. Peace.